The Boston Bruins have just robbed the NHL by picking James Hagens at number 7 overall. We're going to be breaking down this draft pick as well as what people are saying, and some people calling it a very bad pick, others calling it the best pick the Bruins have made in years, and we'll have to see what Adam Sandler has to say about this pick as the Bruins are making multiple moves to get back into these playoffs. Ladies and gentlemen, before we do get into it, we were just live coming in here to the video right now for you guys. Your sport's been incredible. I need you to do me one favor. Let's get this number up to 10K. Your sport's been absolutely incredible as of late. We're currently sitting at just over 7,000 subscribers. Your sport's been incredible. I appreciate all of you guys watching this right now. But we need to get straight into this because, as we see, James Hagens has been selected at number 7 overall by the Boston Bruins. He fell into the hands of the Boston Bruins after weeks and weeks of projections going from 3rd overall to 5th overall. And in recent days, Craig Button, Bob McKenzie both projected that he would drop and fall right into the Bruins' hands. We saw all these reports, all these rumors of the New York Islanders trying to get involved in this top 10. Go and get James Hagens. They did not manage to do it, and we just absolutely robbed the New York Islanders and the rest of the NHL. Now, I want to get into this because James Hagens, by many people's standards, is someone that is very overrated. Now, I disagree. Personally, disagree. I think a lot of people are going to be very surprised by how good he plays next year. Not just next year with what will likely be the Boston College team. He can come professional. Doubt that will happen. Keep that in mind. But he's a player that a lot of people are supposedly banking on as the future of this Boston Bruins team, and someone that they think is not going to be great. But as we do go and take a look at James Hagens' stats here, 37 games played, 37 points. You can take a look at this and say, yeah, he's not really lighting up these numbers, but when you're looking at this, first year in the NCAA, playing with Boston College, those are some pretty good numbers. We can kind of pair that to Dean Letourneau, 3 assists in, 37 games as well. Not great numbers, but James Hagens, after being projected number 1 overall, had a lot of hits come to his draft stock, which ultimately led him to dropping down to number 7 in the Boston Bruins organization and their pick there. And we're now seeing this and just land into a perfect spot. And, I'm still ecstatic, still only mere moments from that pick actually being made. But James Hagens is someone that, when we do take a look at, and as I mentioned, you see on top there, Bob McKenzie, Craig Button, they're 7 and 8. You take a look at the rest of these draft companies or, people, Daily Faceoff being there, Draft Prospects being there, Sportsnet Sam Constantino being there, Recruitment, Dober Prospects. They have him listed at 3. They put him behind Michael Misa, behind Matthew Schaefer, and that was it. And we expected him to fall. I trust Craig Button. I trust Bob McKenzie. You guys who've been watching the videos, you guys know that I've been waiting to see this happen and waiting for this drop because those are the 2 that I trust most in this whole draft prospect things. But I want to jump into the Dober prospect, kind of breakdown of them. I want to give you guys a little look at the type of player that James Hagens is described as. So jumping into this and taking a look here with the first one from Dober Prospects before we jump into their personal their personal scouting of him. James Hagens' season at Boston College left many scouts underwhelmed, for understandable reasons. Scoring at point per game rate at the college freshman is impressive, but not extraordinary. For a player entering his draft season viewed almost as a unanimous as the consensus first overall pick, his game left a lot to be desired, especially when compared to the dominant draft year performances of Adam Fantilli and Macklin Celebrini. Now, I'm not blaming this here at all on James Hagens. I'm not blaming it on Fantilli or Celebrini, but those 2 players had very different kinds of years going in from their draft into where they are now. They saw a different game. They saw a different team. They saw a different, NCAA, league at that point. Those players as well built for a kind of style of leading a team. While James Hagens will get there eventually. Believe me that. But not yet. He's still very young. Still growing. Still putting on muscle. Still a guy that at 5'11", 180 is still growing. He's going to be a much bigger player when it does come time to join the Boston Bruins organization and join this team at the NHL level. And I think there's no kind of downside to this. And I think that the Skate Pod on their podcast put this out on Twitter. See, 498 votes. 90% of people are saying, yes, this is a good pick. I don't know if we've had any amount of Bruins fans agree on something this well. And, I feel like that kind of goes to show how many people like this signing. I think it was an absolute gift by the hockey gods to let him fall into the hands of the Boston Bruins here at number 7, because we kind of took the short end of the straw after the draft lottery, moving from 5 to 7, having the Mammoth, having the Islanders move up. They got lucky. Let's say they got lucky. The Bruins stunk. They got very, very lucky when it comes to number 7 and James Hagens being available there. But I want to jump into their personal from Annie Karvinen on James Hagens, kind of prospect breakdown of him. It says, Hagens is a player, like many in this draft class, who drew deferring options from our scouts. Some on our team are concerned about his play driving ability, and that's a fair critique. He struggled in that area, particularly against tight checking teams. Still, he remains our third-ranked player. A combination of skill and speed and potential for added layers with increased strength makes him impossible to overlook. Whether he becomes a play-driving top-line center or a playmaking second-line winger remains to be seen. Now, we know the Bruins are making strides to have him at center, but you see what they're saying his kind of faults are, his lacks of his game are. Not a play-driving guy. That comes, once again, with his size at this very moment. He will be putting on a lot of muscle in this next year at Boston College, presumptively, which won't be with the Boston Bruins next year. Then the year after will likely be with the Boston Bruins. We're going to see him much bigger. We're going to see him much stronger. And that way, you see him go against these check-driving teams. He's going to be a much better player in a couple of years than even he is now. But you saw those faults. Not a play-driving guy. He still is ranked 3rd overall by their scouts, putting him above guys like that we saw, Anton Frandel, Caleb Delaunay, who went 3 and 4. This goes to show how good this kid is. Now, I'm putting you on James Hagens if you guys are not fans of him. I know a lot of you guys that were in the stream love the kid. I think a lot of guys that are, kind of debating the idea, I'm really going to grow on him very quickly because I think that he is a phenomenal player. And we saw Don Sweeney make that pick, go into the draft room. He was absent. We saw the frozen screen. You know what this is eerily similar to? The Power Rangers screen with Don Sweeney. We had a live look from inside the room, and here it is, Don Sweeney on the board. Hopefully he didn't go in contact with James Hagens. James Hagens seemed ecstatic to be with the Bruins, staying in Boston, and I do expect that he's going to come out hot here, come out very good. And when we do take a look at these stats, once again, take these with a grain of salt, and you can write it down right now. You can book me on it for next season. You're going to see a much, much better James Hagens here than next year. You're going to see a bigger James Hagens, still going to grow a bit, probably go up to 6 foot, but with the weight, I see him being a guy that's up at 195, 200, being that strong type of player, as quick as he still is, as good of a playmaker he is. He's going to be that guy for the Bruins, and he is the one that they were looking for. So do me a favor. Let me know in the comments below right now what you think about this James Hagens pick. I am ecstatic, as you could probably see. You probably saw in the live stream. We were waiting for it, and there were some moves that kind of led up to this. Of course, kind of the whole idea of Porter Martone potentially dropping. Did go a bit. Brady Martin, a guy we thought we were going to get, went up, came up to 5 to the Nashville Predators. They took him there, and it ultimately played out well for the Boston Bruins, as James Hagens is now a part of this organization. One that we had theorized for quite some time, and one that finally came true. Ladies and gentlemen, let me know what you think. And as I mentioned at the beginning of this video, we are not stopping on the news at all. As you see, the video coming out tonight, this one here, we're going to have more tomorrow, more throughout the week, and free agency starts on Tuesday. You won't want to miss it. Be sure to hit the sub button. That is all I have in this video. If you guys did enjoy, give it a like. Hit the sub button as well. Join me on the channel. I do appreciate all of you guys watching. But that's all I got. Thanks for watching. Hope you have a great day. See you later.